Hi and welcome. I'm so happy you are here. My name is Courtney Gackstetter and I am your holistic and forgiveness coach. So I'm so glad that you found my spot here, and this is for Goss magazine. What we're going to be doing is, this will be fairly quick. And if you complete this, I'm super proud of you for being really brave. We're going to do some activation into your forgiveness, okay? This could be wildly triggering for some. If so, I'm so glad you're here, because that only means, whew, baby, that you have some healing that can take place. So it is quite normal and natural to feel a huge resistance towards forgiving, to suddenly start getting angry. I want you to push through because it's worth it. So if you read part of my story, quickly what that is forgiving the unforgivable. When I was a young teenager, it was my father whom I needed to forgive. I haven't seen him since, but there's more written and I can share more. The short story is I was 14 when he decided to change the locks on my family home, which meant that then I was homeless. So he left me out literally on the street that night with the garbage. So for an entire season, that was my life as a young teenager, being homeless, because my dad decided he no longer wanted a daughter. Very painful thing to come to terms with. Very painful thing to survive. And I actually used anger to fuel me for survival. But that only ended up hurting me more. Absolutely hurt me more. I thought I needed it as a way of revenge to get back at him, but my dad never knew that I was angry. He was just gone from my life indefinitely. Totally gone. So it wasn't until I was 19 that I chose to forgive him, and that was one of the best moments of my life. I had no idea how much weight I was carrying. Literally in that moment that I forgave him, an entire car lifted off and out of me. And that car had a name, and it was anger. So it was a spiritual demon that I had said okay to and welcomed into my life in order to survive. And I've never felt so free once it left. I had horrible road rage. I would get very angry if anyone ever mentioned my dad. So for anyone with daughter-father wounds, even hearing the word father or dad, I understand if that makes you upset. It used to make me very upset. So let's begin. Oh my goodness, it's so worth it. And a couple of precursors. Forgiveness does not mean that what happened to you was okay. It does not mean that you were forgetting what happened. You do not suddenly have amnesia. You are allowed to remember what happened to you, and you will. But the pain of the past is no longer going to hold a tie onto your soul, a chain weighing you down. Because every time we don't forgive someone for the biggest thing, the smallest thing, whatever it is, we are still bound to that pain that they caused us, whether it's recently or it's 20 years ago. Okay? So truly forgiveness is for you. The person doesn't even need to know that you've forgiven them. It might not even be possible. They could have died, right? So this is truly a journey for you and your healing, not the other person. And reconciliation and forgiveness are two very different things. Sometimes, like in the case with my father, since there's been no reconciliation, I haven't spoken to him, I don't know where in the world he is, I can now pray for him though, right? That's huge. That happened when I forgave him, that I could pray for him. It does not mean that if he were to come knock on my door tomorrow, that he would be safe to have a relationship with. It does not mean that reconciliation is necessarily safe, right? So if someone has abused you, you can still forgive them, but it doesn't mean they need to come back into your life. Reconciliation is beautiful if it is safe, if the person is repentive, if they have changed, then maybe it can move forward. But sometimes that is not the case. And you forgiving them is only going to do you part justice, so you don't have to carry all of that pain with you. You can drop it. Okay? Okay. Reconciliation, forgiveness, two very different things. Great. I'm going to open up in a bit of prayer. What you can do is I'm going to encourage you to speak things out loud while we do this. We're going to say this is going to be about 20 minutes of your time. And I'm really excited because I know some of you are going to experience some really deep healing. And I'm excited to hear about that. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to use my authority in the Spirit to do this. So if you can just, even in your head, say amen or acknowledge that I have permission to pray for you, it's going to go really cool. All right. So, Creator of the universe, God, Heavenly Father, I just invite you into this time with my dear friends. Lord, I would ask that you would open their heart and just hold back any spirits that are not of your kingdom that want to keep them in bondage, in anger, in resentment, and in bitterness and unforgiveness, Lord. I would just ask that you would supernaturally come in. Your beautiful love would begin to feel them, and that they would feel safe and know that this is good for them and their soul with you. All right. Amen. What we're going to do first, as I'm talking, some of you might already know exactly the person that you haven't forgiven. There might be a few, but I'm actually going to pray that those people would start to come to mind. Okay? And I call there's two different approaches. So there's the avalanche approach, and there's also the snowball effect. And it's up to you. I am go big or go home. You can still stay here and do little steps. That's fine too. It's just my personality. So if it's an avalanche, you are going to start with the person that has hurt you the most. And probably this person is a family member. It could be your husband. It could be someone really close to you. It might be a parent. It might even be your child who's like grown. Who knows? But I want you to begin to have them in mind. I'm sorry if it's painful, but you are brave and you can do hard things. And if you choose to forgive them first, the avalanche is going to start to come quickly. So you'll notice that it'll become easier and easier as it trickles out. The people who have less offended you are going to be easier to forgive. The little things will be smaller after you get rid of the big kahuna. Okay. So then if you want to do the snowball effect, you can start small. So you might have a memory come up of, this was one from mine, okay? And I've been holding on to it for this long. But a memory such as when you're in grade 1 and you're known to be a pretty good artist and a friend in your grade 1 class asks, hey, can you also draw this groundhog for me for Groundhog Day? That is a fantastic groundhog, Courtney. And I say, yeah. And so I draw her artwork. And then she signs her name on it, runs up and tells the teacher, we're talking about 6-year-olds, guys. But I was holding on to this for many years and didn't realize it until the avalanche effect for me. Okay. Runs up to the teacher and says, look at this beautiful artwork that I did. And the teacher goes, that is so fantastic. Please go show the principal what a great artist you are. And wouldn't you know that artwork got displayed up in the office behind glass, hung on the wall with someone else's name on it when I was the one who drew it. We were 6 years old. That's a more easy thing to forgive now being an adult, at the time. But I was holding on to that for so many years. And that memory I just kind of kept hidden and suppressed. So since then I have forgiven her, and I've been able to see the beauty of the different things in her life that actually encouraged her to become an artist and to stay in art, even though it started with my artwork. And then later she won an award, even though anyways, it happened again with an award, but I didn't stay in art. She did. So I can see the beauty of that later, that it was able to encourage her. Anyways, so I've let that go. That's easy to let go, right? 6-year-olds. Yeah, I can forgive her for, stealing my artwork. whatever. Okay, so that would be the snowball. Slowly starting with something smaller, and then it starts gradually getting harder and harder as it gets bigger and bigger. The ball grows, that you take practice in forgiving the easier offenses. Okay, so if you do have notebook, paper, or just in your mind, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to take a moment. And I'm going to ask the divine to intercede to bring forth some memories of people that you need to forgive. You're brave. You can do this. All right, Lord, Holy Spirit, it is time. Lord, can you please bring to mind people and offenses, things that have happened in our past, whether big or small, that we need to start letting go of now. It is safe to let go of. It is safe to forgive these people so that we can begin our healing journey and not have that weigh us down anymore. I'm going to give you about a minute. You can start writing these people down as they come forth, okay? Yeah, that person too. Write them down as well. Yeah. No, they don't deserve your forgiveness. It's not for them. You deserve to be free from that pain. Yeah, write them down too. It's okay if the list is long. It's okay if it's short because you need to get the avalanche going and it's just one person. There is no right or wrong here, and you can always come back. And once we begin the journey of forgiving the first person, it's going to naturally start flowing because you're going to experience freedom and weight coming off that you're going to be like, dang it, I want to do this more. Okay? And then you can start practicing it. So if you need to come back to this or take some time after we're done just to journal it out and write down these people, you can even in detail write down. So this is one of the things, one of the tools that you can use. You can even write down what you are forgiving them for, like what they did that was wrong to you. Okay? And we are going to begin to release it. So there is power. I don't really care what you believe, okay? Because there is power in your voice and your spoken word. So even if you don't believe it yourself, I want you, if you can, out loud. So you might need to go to somewhere where it's safe or, a little bit later when you're driving or wherever. I want you to speak this out loud. I forgive, and say their name, whether you believe it or not. And I know it's hard. Some of you are going to experience a really hard time saying it out loud. And it's almost it is supernatural. If you're experiencing your tongue being held back, like it is one of the hardest things to say, push through. Yeah, I'm going to peer pressure you. Push through, because letting that out and that supernatural hold that it has on you, that pain, might not want you to let go because you're in bondage to it. But that bondage is not serving you. And there's freedom on the other side. So go ahead and say it, like I double dog dare ya. Say it out loud. Okay. Good. Some of you have. I know some of you haven't yet. Do it. Okay. So now that you've begun that, every time you feel like it comes back up or you start getting angry at that person again, and if you feel like now you have a list and it's like free flowing, just start going. Just start naming the next person. I forgive. I forgive for whatever it is. I forgive for whatever it is. And get it going. Our words have the power to bring life or death. Okay? So we want to be life bearers and life speakers because there is power in our words. So even God created the whole world and everything in it by speaking. And he said that you are a God bearer. You are made in the image of the Creator. You also have power in your tongue. So how cool is that? Use it. And use it for beautiful, good, healing things. And I know that you are in this space on purpose, and also that you are brave and that you are wanting to go there and seek more healing. And you wouldn't be here if you weren't. Okay. So start speaking that. It's okay, whatever you're feeling. We can even do a quick little assessment. I want you to just take a moment and to see where you feel like it's releasing from. If you're feeling like it's weight on your shoulders, if that has come off, if you're feeling like it's weight in your chest, if there's pain, if you feel like you need to cry or grieve or scream and get out some anger before you say it, or just keep saying, I forgive them, whoever it is. Let's do a quick internal check, okay? All right, so I'll give you a moment to see where is that pain and what is that emotion that you're feeling. Okay, so for me, I can usually feel it in my chest. Now, wherever that is, I want you to see how big is it? The emotion, the pain, the sorrow, the sadness, the relief, if it's gone, or if there is still some pain. Whatever the emotion is, how big is it? Is it like the size of like a soccer ball? Is it a tennis ball? Is it maybe just a little jelly bean? And maybe this is your memories attached to what you're forgiving this person to. You are safe to go there. You are safe where you are. You can go into that emotion and that pain. So I'm going to give you about a minute to go into it. Okay, wherever it is, if it's in your gut, you might be feeling it in your hip, your buttocks, whatever. I said buttocks. Okay, so find it wherever it is. And I want you to start focusing on it. Focus on that emotion, the memory attached to it. It's okay, you're safe. So go into it. Remember what it was like. Maybe you do have some trapped emotions. I know with me staying angry for so long, I didn't grieve losing my dad. So a lot of that anger was masking sadness. You might relate to that. So if you really just actually need to cry, let it out. You're safe. Now, as you're releasing that emotion, I want you to reassess. How big is it? Is the soccer ball now a tennis ball? Is the tennis ball, maybe it's the shape of, I don't know, corn on the cob. Maybe something different. That's okay. Maybe you're like, Courtney, it's a soccer cleat. Sure. Has it shrunk? Okay, let's try to wring it out. I want you to go back into it. You can breathe, visualize the pain. Maybe it's a scar and it's tough. Can you wring out any of the emotions that are in it? We're going to try to get it smaller. You are welcome to take more time than this video is and to process and assess. And if you want to work one-on-one together or in a group setting, I'm so happy to facilitate that. Okay, this is good. This is good hard work. Now your list that you have, I want you to release it. So this is the next step. With that list, you can either burn it safely. I mean, I really do love fire, but like make sure you do it somewhere safe where you're not going to cause the fire, okay? Or you can rip it up, throw it in the garbage. You can scratch it out, throw it in the garbage, get rid of it. But as you do, you can say it as a prayer. Say it out loud, is I release all of this. I release all this pain. I release all this bondage. I release all these things that were done to me and the offense that I picked up with it. I forgive them. I release it. And let it go. And it's going to be so good. So I would love to hear a check-in. I am going to encourage you to do one more thing before we get off of this, before this video is over. One more thing. But first, breathe. I'm really proud of you. Now, if you feel tempted, because you probably might, like a knocking on your door, tap, tap, like the devil tapping on your shoulder, little, angel and devil, okay, saying you didn't really forgive them, or get mad at them again, pick it back up. I want you to rebuke the devil. And you say, devil, get out of here. You say no. Unforgiveness, but you can speak to it by name too. Unforgiveness, bitterness. No, get out of here. You do not serve me. I am not picking that back up. And then actually with your words, Burke's power again, you can just say it out loud again. Okay, so this could be also a process. Sometimes there is what is like miraculous healings, miracles, which is what like I experienced in my story of like God coming upon me and taking it from me. I had to agree to it though. That was miraculous. Other times forgiveness, it can take time and like practicing it and repetitive. Both are still healing. Okay. So don't fall for this trap that you haven't done it yet, or that wasn't good enough, or that experience was fake, or whatever it is, whatever that little like lie is going to tell you. You just rebuke it and speak the truth of where you want to go. So still, if you don't fully believe that you have forgiven, just keep speaking it. Okay, there's more work to do, just to remind yourself. And the next step for healing as well, and we're going to do this quickly, is to assess, what did I do wrong in that situation? So hear me out. You could be completely, yes, innocent if someone did something to you that you need to forgive. Like me as a child and my dad locking me out of the house and making me homeless and never wanting a daughter again. Okay. I did nothing to deserve that as a child. There is nothing a child can do to deserve that treatment, to be deserved, to be not wanted, to be made homeless, to be kicked out, to be not cared for. Nothing. Okay. Here's the however and the but. But when my dad did that, what I did wrong for myself, okay, and offenses, is I started believing some lies. So I started believing lies about my worth, right? That I didn't think I was then lovable. I thought then I was like, it was hard to love me. I didn't believe I was worth loving. So I believe some like foundational lies that how can anybody love me if my own father doesn't love me? That's what I did wrong. Okay? Because those were lies. Of course I'm lovable. Because God says I am. And I'm God's daughter. And he died for me. And says I am worth all of this life and more. Right? So that's the truth. My worth comes from God, not from any human. Because humans will fail us. Humans will fail us. That's why we get hurt by them. But God never will. Okay. So you need to find the truth, the lies that you believed because of this. Oh my goodness, we're just going to have to take a little bit more time because this is so good. So if you can start writing this down again, and I'll just say a quick little prayer. Hey, God, can you please open up our hearts for us and allow us to search it, God. What are some of the foundational lies or any little lies that we started believing about our worth, ourself, who we are, who other people are because of those offenses that happened? What healing do you have for us now? I'm going over time, but that's okay. This is worth it. You're worth it. You're beautiful. You look really pretty today and you smell good too. Take some time after this to assess more if you need to, or go back through the whole video and do it all over again. All right, she found some lies. Good. Now you're going to have to find some truths to counteract those lies. So here's where now we can begin to ask for forgiveness. So not only did I believe those lies that were wrong, oh Lord, I ended up starting to become like my dad. I wanted revenge. I was bitter. I was angry. I just thought less of people. I then became very judgmental of people. So if anyone remotely, if I even perceived that they had lied to me, even if they had not lied to me, but I perceived and thought it was a lie, I would judge them. I would cut them out of my life so quick. I became so much like my dad. Okay. So here's also why forgiveness is important. Hurt people, yes. But if we are so consumed with the pain that someone caused us and we aren't willing to let that go, that can bond to us. And quite often we can start to become like the people that we so hate. It might look different, but it could be exactly the same, sin. It could be the same pain points. So being bitter, being judgmental, being revengeful, those were all things that my dad really struggled with, and I guess still struggles with. Yeah, pray for my dad. Take a moment to pray for my dad. That'd be awesome. Wherever he is. Lord, get him. Sick him, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, because I would love for him to obviously have a beautiful healing journey too, because of the pains and compassion. Man, we could go on and on and on and on. So some of those lies, what you can begin to do, and this is what I did, and it helped me to have so much freedom, is Lord, forgive me. So of course, whatever name resonates with you, with God, Spirit, Source, God, Jehovah, Creator of the universe. I kind of, using universe, it's a place. It's not actually a person. I would be more direct. Right? You can go directly to the source as creator of the universe. It's like a slight little twist. Instead of asking the universe, which is a place, right? I kind of feel like it would be, I'm asking Canada something when I could just ask, I don't know, the leader of Canada the question and get a better answer. It's more direct, right? You could get all sorts of crazy answers. I feel like if I were to ask a very broad scope of a place and not the person. So for me, that's creator of the universe. It's a good little, it's a powerful little thing. Okay. Forgive me for the things that I did wrong, for the lies that I believed, for then the revenge that I wanted, or for not loving myself or thinking myself unworthy. Forgive me for all those things, because the truth is, and start to fill in those truths. I'm worthy because God loved me, called me, created me. Being a bitter and angry person, I'm supposed to be a forgiveful person because God, you forgave me first. I'm supposed to treat others how I want to be treated. So forgive me for not doing that, right? And you can start to fill those in. But that is a powerful piece to the forgiveness equation, not only of letting go, but then seeing for further healing, okay, what was my part in it? How did I also harm myself? Or then if you are guilty, yeah, maybe too. And we can always just discuss this further, you can reach out to me. Maybe you are the guilty person and you have actually wronged someone in a way. It is worth it to make amends. You are not responsible for how someone responds or doesn't respond. So if you do have an apology to give someone, I would really encourage you to make it right. It's worth it. But you are not responsible for how they respond. You are only responsible for how you respond. You are not responsible for other people's reactions or emotions, but you are responsible for yours. Okay? So it's okay if it doesn't go well, because maybe they need to still forgive you. And this could be that little action to help them to get more freedom, because they might have already forgiven you or they might need to, but that's their responsibility, not yours. But if you can make amends to something, get some guilt off of you, okay? And there is a difference between guilt and shame. I always love to address this. Guilt is, okay, I did do something wrong. Shame is, okay, so guilt, I did something bad. Shame is, I am bad. I don't ever want you feeling shame about anything. You are not bad. You were made for good. What you have done does not define you. It is not your identity. Okay? So we have to take the actions of things and not personalize it and wear it. So no shame. I want no shame up in here in this place. I think that is a lie and trickery from the devil. Okay? But guilt, we can reconcile with guilt. If you are guilty of something, you can make it right. And I encourage you to. It will also help to free you, and it will be beautiful. I love you, friends. Thank you so much for taking this time with me. I'm excited to hear how this has helped you. You can send me a message. Instagram's the bomb. So either at Jane and Thunder, that's my beauty care line, or you can email me at hello@janeandthunder.com. And also Instagram for forgiveness coaching, which would make the most sense for me to send you to, would be at Mrs. Courtney Jane. Okay, but I'm super proud of you. And I also wanted to offer you a special discount for my packages if you want to work together. So for Goss, that's 20%